Welcome to our weekly news roundup, where we give you a brief rundown of everything that has happened in Nigeria and to Nigeria for Nigerians in and outside Nigeria. Reporting is Virtue Delgane from Diaspolitan Magazine TV. The headlines. Global tensions rise as the United States and Israel escalate military actions against Iran. Iran appoints Mojtaba Khamenei as new supreme leader. Federal government introduces certification verification policy before NYSC mobilization. Peter Obi insists he will contest the 2027 presidential election. Senate President Godswill Akpabio says opposition parties remain unprepared for the 2027 general elections. Former Bayelsa Governor Serake Dixon leads the PDP amid growing political realignments ahead of the 2027 elections. Bayelsa State prepares to host the maiden Yenagoa City International 10-kilometer road race. Nembe commemorates 130 years of the Nembe-British War. Now to the news in details. Kicking off with international updates, global tensions rise as the United States and Israel escalate military actions against Iran. Tensions in the Middle East have intensified following coordinated airstrikes by the United States and Israel on Iranian military facilities. The strikes reportedly targeted strategic installations linked to Iran's missile and defense infrastructure. Iran has responded with missile and drone attacks directed at Israeli positions and U.S.-aligned bases in the region. Security analysts say the situation raises concern about a broader regional conflict. The crisis is also impacting global energy markets, with oil prices rising amid fears that shipping through the Strait of Hormuz could be disrupted. The waterway is one of the world's most critical routes for oil transportation. Iran has appointed Mojtaba Khamenei as the country's new supreme leader following the death of his father, Ali Khamenei. The decision was made by Iran's powerful assembly of experts, the council responsible for selecting the country's highest political and religious authority. Mojtaba Khamenei, a 56-year-old cleric, officially assumed office on March 8, becoming the third supreme leader since the 1979 Iranian Revolution. His appointment comes during a period of intense regional conflict after airstrikes killed his father during the ongoing confrontation involving the United States and Israel. Although he has rarely appeared public in politics, Mojtaba Khamenei has long been seen as influential within Iran's political power structure, particularly through his ties to the powerful Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Analysts say his rise signals continuity in Iran's hard-line political stance, especially as the country navigates growing tensions with Western powers and regional rivals. Coming home to national matters, federal government introduces certification verification policy before NYSC mobilization. Nigeria's federal government has announced a new policy requiring verification of academic certificates before graduates are mobilized for the National Youth Service Corps. The policy introduced by the Federal Ministry of Education is aimed at tackling the growing problem of fake academic certificates used by some graduates seeking to participate in the NYSC scheme. Under the new directive, tertiary institutions will be required to digitally confirm the authenticity of graduate certificates before their names are forwarded for national service mobilization. Education authorities say the move is part of broader reforms designed to strengthen the credibility of Nigeria's higher education system. Officials also noted that the policy will help prevent unqualified individuals from accessing opportunities meant for legitimate graduates. The development follows several investigations in recent years that exposed cases of Nigerians obtaining fraudulent degrees from uncredited foreign institutions. Moving on to other national matters that border on the upcoming elections. Peter Obi insists he will contest the 2027 presidential election. Former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has reaffirmed his intention to contest Nigeria's 2027 presidential elections. Obi made the statement while addressing supporters during a recent political engagement, stressing that the number of governors controlled by the ruling All Progressive Congress will not discourage his ambition. According to him, Nigeria's democracy should be driven by the will of the people rather than the strength of political structures controlled by parties in power. His remarks come amid growing political conversation about the build-up to the 2027 elections, especially as the APC currently controls more than half of Nigeria's state government. Obi also urged supporters to remain committed to civic participation, noting that electoral outcomes depend largely on voter turnout and continued engagement with the democratic process. Political analysts say early declarations such as these suggest that preparations for the 2027 elections may begin much earlier than expected. Senate President Godswill Akpabio says opposition parties remain unprepared for the 2027 general elections. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has criticized opposition parties in Nigeria, stating that they remain fragmented and unprepared for the 2027 general elections. Akpabio made the remark while addressing political stakeholders, noting that the ruling party remains focused on governance while the opposition struggles with internal divisions. His comments come as political activities across the country gradually begin to shift toward early preparation for the next election cycle. Former Bayelsa State Governor and serving Senator Serake Dixon has reportedly resigned from the People's Democratic Party. Dixon is said to be aligning with a newly emerging political platform expected to play a role in the build-up to Nigeria's 2027 general election. Political observers say the move could signal the beginning of wider political realignment as party reposition and key actors seek stronger platforms ahead of the next election cycle. And on to local news in the Niger Delta. Bayelsa State prepares to host the maiden Yenagoa City International 10-kilometer road race. Preparations are underway for the maiden Yenagoa City International 10-kilometer road race scheduled to hold in Yenagoa. Organizers say the race is expected to attract athletes from across Nigeria and several other countries. The event is aimed at promoting sports development, encouraging youth participation in athletics, and boosting tourism in Bayelsa State. Nembe commemorates 130 years of the Nembe-British War. Residents of Nembe have marked the 130th anniversary of the historic Nembe-British War of 1895 in honor of the legendary Nembe monarch, King Koko. The two-day commemoration, held on the 22nd and 23rd of February 2026, began with a Thanksgiving service in remembrance of the king and his role in the resistance against British colonial forces. Later in the day, a medical outreach was held in the communities of Basambiri and Ogolomabiri. The outreach, themed Healing Minds and Building Bridges, provided healthcare services to residents while promoting unity among the people. Activities continued the following day with a town hall meeting at Nembe City Hall, where community leaders and stakeholders discussed peaceful and progressive ways to sustain the legacy of King Koko and advance development in the kingdom. The commemoration concluded with a traditional Omungwaro, where the Kulo and Koko Royal House showcased their historic volcano and warrior heritage, highlighting Nembe's long-standing maritime and warrior traditions. The event was organized by the King Koko Foundation, led by its president, Dr. Rosalind Dressman Kerema. Organizers say the program was aimed at preserving the history of the Nembe resistance while promoting unity and development within the community. And that's it on today's news roundup. Stay connected and stay tuned as we bring in more specially curated updates on things happening in Nigeria and to Nigeria, for Nigerians, in Nigeria, and outside Nigeria. Reporting directly from Diaspolitan Prime TV, I am Virtue Eptilganet.